As events on the 2013 ASP World Tour unfold, much is at stake. Heats that are shaping the outcome of the World Championship title race. Heats that will chart the upward rise, the occasional dip, or the downward spiral of a surfer's career. The line separating triumph from despair is fine. The balance between winning and losing, delicate. Heat Redux will analyze these heats and break down those moments where everything is on the line.
And I'd heard the crowd blow up, and Miguel was like pale white, just like.
You can watch that air 100 times and it still doesn't look real.
In the end, what matters most after the scores have dropped and the cheers have died away is which surfer gets to pull in a jersey for the next heat. Which surfer ultimately gets the chance at taking the biggest prize.
I mean, the crowd was, the best way to describe it would be, it was like a rock concert.
The semifinals for this year's Billabong Rio Pro would go down as one of the most exciting and memorable heats of this year's ASP World Tour. Adriano de Souza and Gabriel Medina went head-to-head in front of a packed beach of their hometown Brazilian supporters. It was de Souza's rail work which would gain the heat's first big score of an 8.77. Medina wouldn't be down for long though, and responded quickly with a massive air reverse.
He's loving it, throws his hands up to the panel.
De Souza would show the competitive spirit he is known for, and took to the air again on his next wave to earn an 8.77. This left Medina needing a 7.94 to take the win, and with 10 seconds remaining, he found the chance to take the victory.
Here he goes, he's got a chance. Can he do a big spin? And he lands it. Is it going to be the score?
With the crowd losing their minds over Medina's last gasp effort, the surfers made their way onto the beach, unsure of who had taken the win.
That heat was incredible, like, wow. Like, you couldn't have seen two more dudes with so much desperation. What more can you say? It was a heat with everything.
However, when the scores dropped after an agonizing wait, Medina had fallen just short of the mark, leaving the emotional 19-year-old distraught and in tears of despair. For de Souza, his reign as king of the Brazilians would continue as he went on to make his second event final in a row and a chance to claim back the Rio title he won in 2011. However, the real story to this heat stretches back 18 months before the event. Gabriel Medina started off his career on the ASP World Tour unlike any rookie to come before him. Joining the tour in the mid-year rotation in 2011, he won 2 of his first 3 events on tour, and the hype that followed was immense.
For him, momentum was very much on his side. Like most rookies do, they come on and their first couple of years they're finding their feet. That didn't happen with Gabe.
After a respectable top 10 finish to his 2012 campaign, an injury at the first event at Snapper Rocks would sideline a frustrated Medina for the following event at Bells Beach.
I was pretty sad because I couldn't surf, and I think that motivated me.
Despite not being at full fitness, the lure of a contest in front of his home fans in Rio proved too much for Medina to be able to resist.
Coming into the event, I thought that he still might be injured, and I sort of did question how he would go in the event.
A week before the Rio event, I was feeling really bad. My foot was feeling really bad, and when I make my first heat, I don't know, my foot just started getting better. Like, that was giving me more confidence during the event.
Medina would be the event's standout in the opening rounds, laying down the standout maneuvers of the event in front of an adoring fan base.
Yeah, in Rio from the semi-finals, I thought that, it was Gabriel Medina's contest to lose by then. He was easily the best surfer so far in the event.
You know, the scene around Gabe, it was like being at a rock concert. You know, every time he'd show up, you know, these people would just start screaming his name, and it was the most incredible thing I've seen. Like, I've never seen that for any other surfer apart from, Kelly Slater.
While the crowd was shifting its allegiance to Medina, for de Souza, his build-up to the event couldn't have been more different. Having won the previous event at Bells, he was sitting at #1 in the world rankings.
As soon as I went to Brazil and realized I was really motivated with a lot of energy in my body, to represent my country in my hometown.
However, for de Souza, an 8-year tour veteran, he would have stiff competition from a healthy crop of young Brazilian surfers, led by Medina.
It was almost like a like a changing of the guard. If Adriano's the king of Brazilian surfing, then Gabe's definitely standing right next to him looking to take over that little throne.
At the press conference on the eve of the event, the topic of the so-called Brazilian storm would surface, with none other than 11-time world champion Kelly Slater giving his insight.
I know that there's been a lot of focus on Medina last year, 2 years, but at this point, De Souza is the Brazilian guy to beat, you know? He's kind of one of the older Brazilian guys now. So, you know, he doesn't want those guys to pass him.
De Souza's determination to win in front of his home crowd once again was evident throughout the event, culminating in a convincing win against Kelly Slater in the quarterfinals.
Adriano's on fire right now, and he's got the mojo, and he's running with it.
By the time the contest had reached the business end, as the semifinals hit the water, fate would have it that the Prince and the King would clash. This would be a battle for the surfing crown of Brazil. At stake, the honor of flying the Brazilian flag in the final.
Definitely one of the best matchups of the year. You've got Gabriel Medina, who actually has the entire hype surfing world media just going crazy for him. And then you've got Adriano de Souza, who's kind of past that. He's gone through the hype, and now he's established himself as a world title contender.
It was De Souza who would post the first score in the excellent range, as he mixed up his aerial attack with 2 big turns to earn an 8.77.
Watching the highlights of these heats, the best waves, to me one thing becomes really clear. It's Adriano de Souza has him on variation.
Yeah, when that left come through, and then I knew the judge wanted to see something different. And as soon as I turned in the second one, put the tail up, I said yes, for sure I make a good scores.
I think that Adriano de Souza is one of the best rail surfers on tour. Pound for pound, he's probably the most powerful surfer on tour, you know, for his size. He's really good at finding the most critical part of the wave and pushing through it.
That day they was giving like high score for airs, you know, and who was doing the turns wasn't get that many points, and he got almost 9 for 2 turns. I thought that was kind of overscore when I was in the heat. Yeah, I don't know, it's hard to understand.
Medina's response would be one of the biggest airs landed on this year's ASP World Tour and would earn him a near-perfect 9.70.
So looking at this ride of Medina's, this was the 9.7, and from the outset you can just see he's loading up. He's got a lot more speed than what he'd had on his previous rides, and he just throws everything at it, and he gets really inverted. I love the rotation, and the landing's clean, and I can actually tell just from his body language that he's sort of surprised he rode out as well as he did.
De Souza would go back to his aerial game to reply to Medina's high score with an 8.87.
It was a big wave, and I just make a huge air. When I just landed in a critical part of the wave, was super dry.
With 10 seconds left in the heat, Medina took off on a wave needing a 7.94 to take the win.
So this is his last ride. He's chasing a score in the final stages, and the wave, you can tell, is a lot flatter than what he had on the 9.7. There's a good ramp there, but he kind of projects outways instead of upways, and as a result, the height's just not in it. It's easy to score those air reverses because he's already set the benchmark for what is, you know, a perfect backside air reverse. So anytime he doesn't really match that perfection in a heat, it's really easy for the judges to go, well, that is 2 points less.
But obviously everyone else, mostly the crowd and everyone else, thought that he definitely got the score.
Yeah, Jordan was pretty sad when he saw the air. He thought I got the score.
But as soon as he rode out of it and sort of threw the claim out, I kind of knew that he was maybe trying to juice the score and convince himself that he'd done the job.
Yeah, when he made the air, I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
The consequence of this result could not have been greater, and a Medina win would signal the ushering in of a new guard, and some badly needed momentum for the youngster. But De Souza would reign supreme if he clinched it. As the judges made their decision, both corners waited in anticipation.
It felt like an eternity for them to read the scores out. And unfortunately, he just missed out.
Though he lost the heat, the experience would be a valuable lesson for the young Medina.
Yeah, I hate losing, and I know I just wanted to get the win in that comp. But yeah, it's been hard. Like since I get in the tour, it's been hard to to win an event.
Gabriel doesn't hide the fact that he wants to win, probably more than anybody. And I don't think he's crying because he's complaining about the result. He's just genuinely upset and reduced to tears when he loses out, and especially in front of his hometown crowd. It was a hard one for him to take.